1 year after the release of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie and with filming of the second installment almost beginning. Today let's remember how this iconic movie about our favorite possessed animatronics was created. Before starting, I want to clarify that this video will only focus on the creation of the animatronics and their role in the scenes of the movie, since this is the most interesting part. I will omit the process of creating the scenes filmed by the real actors. Perhaps I will make a second part where I can detail all this better. Now that this is clear, let's get started. Two types of suits created by the company Jim Henson's Creature Shop were used for the film. The first were real animatronics with all their mechanisms. These are mainly found on the torso and head. Despite these complex mechanisms, they cannot walk around the pizzeria like in the original game. They can only stand statically on stage or elsewhere, and their limbs are moved by remote controls operated by puppeteers. The second suits created were used by specialized actors who simulated the robotic movement of an animatronic. They also had a complex mechanism, but this was attached to the actor's body to control certain functions of the suit, very similar to what a spring-lock suit would be like in real life. This was done for all the main band animatronics, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica. However, with Foxy it was different because his limbs are very thin, so an actor wouldn't fit in a suit like that. Foxy was a 100% animatronic suit moved by specialists through complex mechanisms that moved each part of his body by remote control. Also, to simulate his movement, a crane was used, which was then erased with special effects. Something similar happened with the Chica's Cupcake, which was just a small animatronic moved by remote control and strings. A curious fact is that it has a row of metal teeth inside and also a strangely realistic mouth with 4 teeth. The animatronics are actually identical to the one in the game, but at the same time they are very different. They have big differences if we compare them with those of the original game, such as color, size of limbs, textures, etc. On the other hand, the controversial red and yellow eyes in the film were operated remotely by remote control. A curious fact is that the 4 animatronics of the main band have a clean and undamaged version, but these are only suits made to be worn by actors. They never had a version with mechanisms to be animatronics, except for Foxy. These versions of the animatronics can also be seen for a second when Mike looks at the security guard instructions. The repaired version of Foxy, like his damaged counterpart, is also very different from his other bandmates. This is the first time we can see the official version of her without damage, and she is truly unique, having fur on parts of her body and claws on her hands and feet. In the back room of the movie set, the costume of Sparky the dog were stored, that iconic animatronic created by a fan that is now official thanks to the movie. We can also see Shadow Freddy that could be seen in the security tape promotional video. He has his terrifying white eyes, and like Golden Freddy he does not have a right ear either. Something curious is that you can also see the complete body of the Torture Freddy, although there is only one image of the latter. Also, in a certain scene you can see the body of this Freddy, however during the events of the film only his head was used. His body is a spring-lock suit and his torso seems to be lost. Perhaps it's a deteriorated Fredbear suit, and that is why it looks that greenish color, just like what happened with Springtrap in the games. Ella's costume was apparently in another part of the set. This costume is really big, similar to the size of Circus Baby from the games. Ella is taken directly from the books, since she never appeared in the game franchise. Although her design in the movie has several differences from that of the novels, they are still very similar. The Yellow Rabbit costume that Matthew Lillard wears does not have complex mechanisms and was made much lighter so that his mobility in the film is much greater. In the head he only has eyes made of LED lights that are controlled remotely and that allow them to be changed at any time. Color, although unfortunately in the film they could only be seen in white. Golden Freddy's eyes also have the same ability to change color. The repaired version of the Yellow Rabbit that could be seen in a photograph that Vanessa gives to Mike during the movie never existed as a real costume. It was just an edited photograph for this scene in the movie. Arnold is the base endoskeleton of all spring-lock suits. It has many variants. It has a very thick torso where there is a metal casing intended to retain the springs of the endoskeleton when the suit enters animatronic mode. Likewise, this metal casing can be opened so that a person can enter to operate the suit that has this type of endoskeleton. Finally, the pizzeria and its play areas that we see throughout the film have no resemblance to what we see in the original game. These seem to be based on the description of the pizzeria given in the Silver Eyes series of novels. The film used many practical effects to avoid the use of CGI, this gave great realism to the film, making it feel like there was dedication behind its creation. They also took many elements from different parts of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, leaving us with many secrets throughout the film.